Hello guys, got another video today. Today I'm going to show you how to make a config file, a user config file for Battlefield 6, so you can get things like your FPS in the top left, get it sort of looking clean, get like a nice sort of FPS gain as well. I've got a little sort of comparison in the background now that it's showing sort of before and after, and let's get straight into it. Right, so first off, you want to go into your drive that you have Battlefield 6 installed. For me, I have it on my M.2 on my games folder, so I'm going to go into there. If you're on EA app, you would have to go into Origin Games. If you're on Steam, you go to Steam Library, Steam Apps. I think it's Common, and then you would go into Battlefield 6 like that. But for me, I'm on EA app, so I go into Origin Games, go into Battlefield 6. As you can see, the user config is at the bottom. I've already done it, so we're just going to open it and then go into it and just talk about what we've got in here. Okay, so first off, we've got window height, window width. So this is your resolution. So I play at 1440p, so it'd be 2560 by 1440. You know, if you play 1080p, 1920 by 1080, 4K, you know, you put that in like so. This is good for, say, if you have like NVIDIA app or like GeForce Experience. It sets the resolution so your clips are all at 1440p. You know, I've had it in the past where if you don't have this in there, it can sort of record at like lower resolutions, say like 720p and stuff like that, and this sort of helps with that issue. So I think it's just good practice. You know, you don't really lose anything by not having it in. But it's mostly for that sort of thing. These commands here, perfoverlay, drawfps, that's your FPS counter in the top left, sort of get it looking clean, big, so you can see your FPS in game. A slight edit, one thing to mention is you need to go into graphics and then go into the advanced tab, and then you need to make sure the performance overlay is set to simple so that your FPS counter will actually apply, so make sure that's on, otherwise it will not work. Anyway, now this one thing to mention is this is for 1440p, so if you play at say 1080p, 4K, let's say, you may have to change these numbers here, the offset, FPS display offset X on the X-axis, and FPS display offset on the Y-axis. Now I will leave in the description or down in the comments, if you play at 4K, 1080p, I will leave these configs there so you can just copy and paste, and then it should fit in the top left perfectly, hopefully anyway. If it doesn't, you can do this in game. Perf overlay, you can alter these in game. So you just go into game, you get the command console open, and then you just change the numbers on the fly so you can fit it to, you know, you can just move it about and fit it to what you would like, you know. So you can do that, it's a possibility, if it's not to your liking, sort of thing. World render, light tile, CS path enable. Now what this does is it will give you sort of a slight FPS gain. I'd say probably about 10-15 more FPS, good for your sort of 1% lows, 1% lows. One thing to mention though, when you do use this command, it will sort of alter the look of the game in the menus, so it's all darkened. I'll give you a little demonstration here. You know, you can see what it does. Just to let you know, if you don't like that, you can turn it off in game or just remove the command. But in game, there's not a lot of difference, honestly. Maybe some slight subtle with shadows when you're in buildings and stuff like that, but generally, you know, you get a nice sort of FPS gain with this. And this one here, you can get, if you're having sort of high CPU usage in Battlefield 6, and this is nothing new in the sort of older titles, Battlefield 5, I think 2042 as well, you can use this, but in Battlefield 6 it seems to work quite well, so this is why I've sort of added it in this video. It's recently sort of been tested out on like Twitter, stuff like that. You've probably seen it already, honestly, but so you've got the processor count and your max processor count here, so this is unique to your CPU. So if you go into, let's go Task Manager, Performance, go into your CPU. Now, as you can see, on my CPU, I have, where is it? I have 8 cores and I have 16 logical processors on a 7800X3D. So what I would do is you'd set the processor count and max processor count. You set 8 on the cores, and then you set the thread MaxProcessorCount on the logical processors, and you put 16 in there. So you want to set that to that, that's that is unique to your CPU. So whatever you do, you put that in, you know. And this will actually help with CPU usage. What I've detected, you get a slight FPS gain. It's not a lot. I'd say like 1 or 2 FPS, but the real thing is that the CPU usage is way lower, like way lower. Obviously, your CPU is going to be using less power, less heat. If you can, just give this a go. And I would say, you know, if you don't like anything that you've put into the user config, you can just always go into your config, boom, you know, delete it, get rid of it, get the user config, you know, you can always delete it and just revert your changes if you get less FPS or you don't like certain things like this world render light CS path or whatever. You know, if you don't like that, you can just remove it and then just reboot the game with the user and you'll be perfectly fine. I think I'm going to show you how to do it now. So, right. Say, actually, let me just open that for you. Right, so say if you want to make a user config file, go new, just right click in the folder where Battlefield 6 is installed, you go new, text document, boom. Oh, I've already gotten in there, so you've got a text document there, boom. You go to my description, whatever, make the changes that you would want to change, copy it, bam, and there you go. In there, you save as, and you go down here, and you go to all files, and you change it to user.cfg, and then bam, you'd save it. Obviously, I'm not going to do it because I've already done it, and it should be done. And you know that you have done it right is when it says user, and under file type it'll be a CFG file. And you know, like I said, you can still open it and remove commands. You know, say you don't like that one. Say you don't like the light tile path, you can just delete it. Boom, like that. You go there, save, and then just boot up the game, and it won't be there. So yeah, so now you know how to do a config file, and you should have a nice sort of like FPS gain. Get your FPS in the corner so you can see how much FPS you're getting. Thanks for watching. I'm just going through a lot of sort of stuff in Battlefield 6 a minute, sort of benchmarking, FPS tests, that sort of thing at the minute. So expect more videos on the way. Yeah, that's how you do a config file. Thanks for watching. Subscribe if you haven't already. Like I said, more videos on the way. I'll see you boys in the next one.